I'm Lionel from Toronto, Canada, and
I am Robert
which way am I
from
pointing?
Nashville, Tennessee. I don't know where you're pointing.
Well, you know what? It doesn't matter. Just to be sure you understand, this is, I just cracked my voice. You're watching the pairing mode, of course, but you know that, or you will know that from the intro you're about to see right now. So, Robert, what do you think of our new intro?
Looks pretty snazzy.
Snazzy is something my grandma. I will. You know what? We're gonna talk a lot about how I got that done in a bit because we like talking about our AI stuff. We got some AI stuff to talk about, quite a bit as usual, and AI played a part in helping me get that done. So yes, I did do that myself. What is on our agenda other than that tidbit of information?
So make sure everyone knows to like and subscribe. We always forget to mention that.
It's not our agenda. That's the audience agenda.
My agenda to make
What's
sure I
our
remind people to do
agenda?
that. No, so we have some, cool stuff about Google and their AirDrop situation. They've actually opened that up. Um, They've made some updates to Gemini Flash, kind of supercharged it. I remember sharing that article with you. I
Yeah, I don't
know
have it yet.
as far as the Gemini for home, it is rolled out in my home. I don't know how useful it is yet, but it works fine. So we'll talk about that because I know you had some issues. Um,
Well, it's not
so,
issues, but just lack thereof anything, really. It's like,
and of course, we've had a bunch of Kling
yeah,
3.0s rolled out. That's like their video creation is amazing. Um, and I think there was another one too. Well, Claude, Opus came out with their 4.5 or whatever it was, I think. So I
yeah.
mean, these LLMs and video creation tools and all that, I think, are just going to be on like a fast track from over the next year or so. It's like probably every
Yeah.
few months you're going to have some new version of something that's coming out.
Well, the next big battleground might very well be the song AI songs, because we know that Suno is actually really good.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but there is, to this point, they've actually uh stuff is still very similar. Like 10 of us could get something done in 10 different genres, and it's likely that all of us will find parts of it very similar, even if they technically sound different. But extremely similar. But of course, new AI technologies mean they have access to those technologies. So they can put more of their work into the newer AI models. So I expect, because there are some other ones out there, and I haven't done a lot of research on that yet, but I was planning to check it out. I do believe that Suno is going to have some competition in this coming year. Uh, how good the competition is going to be, I don't know. The fact that you can use Suno for free to some extent, anyways. If somebody else doesn't match that, Suno will probably still stay on top. Plus, they're way ahead right now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they have
then
some
again,
pretty
so was
they've
Chat
added
GPT.
they've added some additional features and functionality
Yeah,
too as well. So you have also too, you have like Artlist has now got not only where music and sound effects, but now they have the entire video, picture creation with Kling, Nano Banana, VO 3.0. I mean, they have it all built into Artlist now. So they
yeah.
just recently rolled that out. So that's, the thing is like, and we have a tool that we use, and the nice thing about these tools is that you can create these images with no watermark because the company that
That's cool.
pay for uses the API. Well, the API has no watermark. So it's nice to be able to utilize that.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, if anybody's wondering, I can't speak for every AI, and you're a little bit more deep into that than I am in that end of it. But at least with Gemini and I think with ChatGPT, if you're using their model, even if it's through a third party, there is still a digital watermark in it. So it's not as if you can say, "Oh, well, what if I make this work and someone else just takes it from me?" And there's still a digital watermark in it.
Yeah, just
So
not visible.
yeah, exactly. It's the same thing as if you make a something with in Google Photos or
Right,
Nano Banana, and you decide to edit out the little thing because you want to show it. Maybe you want to print it because you think it's a cool picture. Of you and
right.
your kids when they were younger, even though they're adults now, and you had AI do it for you.
Yeah.
And you want to take the Gemini symbol off of it or the AI symbol off of it. And so you do that in editing and post. And it looks fine, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing illegal to do that. You're keeping it for yourself. You're not selling it. And even if you
Right.
were, it's AI. You're allowed to. But the point is that inside that watermark is still there, in digital form. So yeah, just like you can actually ask Gemini uh, to verify whether a picture is AI or not. And if it's got the digital watermark, it knows instantly. If it doesn't, it actually looks at the picture, examines it, and it'll do the same thing for music. It'll do the same thing for video.
But that's only for Gemini created um, images.
No, it knows instantly for Gemini created, but it can still tell. I want to say 80 to 90% of the time, even when it's
I'm gonna have to test that
created.
out because I don't.
I have. And it does a
Uh,
pretty good job. It can use not
Interesting,
always. Don't
because
get me
I
wrong.
remember reading
10%
about
of the
it, and they
time
said that
it's
it was
wrong.
a Google only, functionality.
Yeah, yeah, for guaranteed to know. But that's because it reads its
Well,
own
but that's not what
watermark,
they
its own digital
said.
watermark.
So yeah,
Well, that's what they meant. It's because it sees its own digital watermark. It's simple as that. Otherwise, how would it know the difference between who made it or not, or what made it? There would
yeah.
be no way for it to know otherwise. So, uh, but yeah, I've tried it from different sources. I've even actually put in pictures, lied to Gemini, and said, "I made this in Chat GPT. Can you tell me everything that you spot about it?" And when I first tried that, like a year or almost a year ago, it basically went on and said, "Well, there's this and the color of that, and the skin tone and the faces and I said, I was lying, and it was just a picture I took with my camera." And it made excuses. Well, I'm just an AI and blah blah blah. But now when I do something like that, it will say I cannot find anything that to suggest it's that, so it must have done a really good job. Like really think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Plus, it
Yeah.
doesn't always just jump into that just an AI thing anymore because now that it has that, well, what do you call it? They don't call it a memory feature. I can't remember how they word it. When you're talking to Gemini,
I don't know.
uh, yeah, you do.
No, because I mean they don't
It's
have
like their
memory.
memory thing. It's no, they sort of do. I'm not talking about the live version. I'm talking about what they have. It used to be just contextual stuff, right? That it would remember stuff you tell it to remember. But now it actually just automatically remembers everything about conversations you've had. So if you're talking to it and you just mention in passing, I had to
Oh,
fix
you're
my
talking about
car
like
on
the
the way to
text
the
side
store.
of things. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, you could be saying something like, I had to stop and change a tire because my tire went flat when I was on the way to the store. But anyways, my question is, why did I have to pay X amount of money? I thought our taxes were only this. And Gemini goes on and on and on and on. And then 3 days later, when you're talking to Gemini, it says, "Oh, well, since you had to fix that flat tire the other day," you know, so yes,
Yeah.
it technically does have memory. And by the way, as it turns out, it looks like Google's finally working on that. It looks like they're going to open up this possibility very soon, probably, for us to get that in Gemini Live. And if they do, that means the live version on your Google Home or Google for Home should be able to do it as well, which is going to be stellar, in my opinion. If you have it on your
Yeah.
home speaker, your whatever, I'm all
Yeah,
in.
we'll see. You know how Google is. I always, in the beginning of all this, like, well, it's been years now, but I used to always say, "Oh yeah, that's going to be awesome," and then I curb my enthusiasm now because
And this isn't
all too
anything
often.
Google said. This is
No,
this
I
is
know.
this is people breaking down the APKs and finding the codes and in all this stuff and that's how they get that. So if Google says, "Oh, in the coming months we're going to do this," you may or may not get it in the coming years, if at all.
Yeah, but you know as
But
well as I do, just
but when
because
you
APK has something in there doesn't mean it's going to come to
No, that's
fruition.
absolutely true, but this is, and I'll tell you why. Because it's too deep into it. And they can't afford not to do it for starters, because who the hell is going to pay $258 for a little tiny little thing, speaker thing with a picture on it, or whatever they charge for those things. And all it does is say, "Hey, how are you? What can I do for you today?" Oh, can you turn on my lights? I'm sorry, I'm not able to do that. Or what light did you want on? Well, I just told you what light. Well, I'm only an AI, and shut up.
So I haven't had any of those issues. Like, I mean, the Gemini for Home, when it implemented, has worked perfectly fine for the basic
Mm,
things that I do around the house. I haven't had any issues like that. But and I mean, I have carried on a couple basic conversations, and I do like the more
yeah.
natural voice. It sounds a lot better. It's not as
Yes, I agree. But
abrupt.
you know what? You know what? Let's go with a slight example here. I got Gemini Live going right now. I'm Lionel. We're on our podcast, The Pairing Mode, with my partner Robert, and Gemini Live is with us right now. Say hi, Gemini.
Hello, Lionel and Robert. It's great to be here on Appearing Mode. What can I help you with today?
Well, we just wanted our listeners and viewers to hear how much more natural you sound as the Gemini Live voice, which unfortunately is the only voice I can choose on my phone. Well, I can choose 10 of them, if not 20 or something like that, on my Google for Home.
I understand. The goal is to provide a more natural and engaging experience. It sounds like
Okay, we're
you
going to
have
let
some.
you go now, though. You have a nice night.
Thank you. It was great chatting with you both on Appearing Mode. Have a good night.
It said on appearing mode.
Yeah. I do like when you tell it goodbye, it ends the chat. I like that.
Yes. Yes, that is absolutely true. And that works for Google for Home, in case
Yes.
anybody's wondering. If he wasn't just talking about it on my phone. Google for Home, it doesn't even have to say goodbye to you like it does on your phone. You can literally just say stop, done.
Yeah. 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 I
Yeah.
like that. It
It
doesn't keep
yeah.
rambling on or like, do you want anything else? I'm still here, or some
Yeah,
stupid shit like
I
that.
hate that part. And I hate wondering if it's still listening kind of thing. So when you go to the live version, you know it is. It's just on. I think it goes into pause if it doesn't hear anything for a while, but I don't know what that length of time is. I haven't tested it. Do you have any idea?
Yeah. No, I have no idea.
Yeah,
I, I
no.
had I haven't really
I have some water.
played a whole lot with the Gemini for Home stuff. I don't do a lot of complicated stuff, but it's supposed to
Right,
be able to, like, I've been wanting to test. I will say this: I've noticed that some of my routines that I already had scheduled and built don't work
right.
the same. I've had to delete some and like rebuild them. So maybe it looks at them different, but I've been wanting to test the, hey, create it, I want to turn this light on when I come home, or whatever the case may be, and have it generate and actually create the
Yeah.
automation. I haven't done that yet, and I want to test that. You're supposed to be able to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't gone anywhere with any of that stuff yet either. There's only so much I actually do with that anymore.
Yeah,
I used to use my Google Homes a lot more often, but as Assistant became more and more deprecated, and then Gemini became more and more capable, but was not yet available on it, they just
right.
at one point I had them both unplugged for I think almost several months, at least 5 or 6 months, anyways. Um,
Really?
And then when I heard that they were going to come, it might be coming soon. I plugged them back in and waited and waited and waited. And then finally I heard them the one day. I think, oh yeah, because it was actually Gemini that told me, because I tell it to remind me, or I mean to notify me of any time that it hears that there's rumors of it opening in Canada, finally launching in Canada, I mean. And and then it did. And so I was like, okay. So I checked it out, didn't work. Next day checked it out, didn't work. Next day checked it out, and it suddenly answered me in a British voice. I'm like, what? I didn't pick not British voice, I mean a cleaner voice. And I was like, what the hell? I said, do I have to? I said, so I literally asked it. I said, are you Gemini? And instead of saying, I'm an AI, I did, it actually said, yes, I am Gemini for home. And that what was it? The voice I ended up picking is, yes, I am Gemini for home. I'm your helpful assistant. What can I do for you today?
I have the British lady talking.
I got to change mine to British. I really do.
My wife likes it, and so do I. So that's what we leave it.
Well, you heard my on the phone here. That's not the one I like. The one I have on my regular Gemini is actually the voice I'd like to have on the live version. And it is a British accent, and it's just cooler. I call my Gemini Jarvis,
All my
and I
chatbots are
yeah,
glitch.
yeah, I can't do that. I need to steal the ideas from movies. I just don't want to call it hell because I don't want it to, refuse to let me leave.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
hilarious.
I I
So
did I did have it. I was calling it Bishop for a while, but then I realized Bishop got ripped in half. So
that's hilarious. But
uh
yeah, no. So I'm gonna play around with it some more. We'll see. I'm glad it finally got implemented. I just literally opened my phone one day and I went into Google Home because I was checking a camera or something. It popped up a message saying, "Hey, Gemini for Home is available now. Click here to get started." And I was like, "All right, cool." And when I got
yeah.
home, it was all live. So, um, and it works on all my speakers. So I have one of those round ones. Everything else is the hubs, and it works on all of them. So
Well, yeah, well, they basically stated right out of the gate that once it goes to you, it's your account specifically. So whether you
yeah,
have one or 1,000 speakers, all of them would get it at the same time.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, but I remember
all you had to do
hearing
is
at
hook it up to
something
your
in the
account.
beginning though that some devices or older devices wouldn't work, but I guess that's not true.
As it turns out, yes, they technically all work, but there's a couple of features that don't work in older ones. I have the original air freshener.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
and
have one
for
of
those
those
of you who
too.
don't know what I'm
We
talking
take it when
about,
we travel.
I love this thing though. That's still my favorite one. First
Oh,
of all, I
really?
do like it better than the puck. Don't get me wrong, the puck, and that's what I call it. It's way better sound than it should be for its size.
Oh,
Way
yeah, it
better than it
sounds
should be for
great.
its size.
Honestly, yeah.
It's almost as nice as that one. But if you take away the whole Google Home Max thing or whatever the hell they called it, the big giant one that cost like $4 billion Canadian and about $15 American, that one that one sounded fantastic, was overpriced, didn't do anything special other than it was a big speaker. But you could plug something else into it to play music. So who cared, really? That's why they had to get rid of it. Nobody wanted to buy it. But this thing sounds almost as good in a much smaller package. Obviously not as loud, but
Well,
um
we have two of the Hub Maxes, and you can do the
sorry,
video
I
conferencing. You
didn't mean
can't.
the Hub Max. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the one that was just a speaker. It had two big speakers.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know what
Right.
you're
You
talking
remember
about.
that
Yeah,
thing. That was they they,
yeah,
they
yeah,
only sold that thing for like a year and a half at the most. And then it's like they sold like six or something and guys bought with
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm exaggerating. It was more than six. But
Yeah, the Hub Max sounds pretty good too, and it enables the video conferencing and all that. We use it all the time with our kids and the
I, I
grandkids.
I've wanted one for years, but the problem is $800,000 Canadian. Uh, it's on my list, but here's what I would have liked to have had, to be honest with you. I thought about this a lot. Was I would have liked to have had that Pixel tablet thing, whatever the hell it was called, and used it as a hub when it put it on the stand. because it
Yeah.
would have done exactly the same thing. However, that's not necessarily true. You wouldn't have had the Google for Home. Right now, I say that there's some limitations, and there are, but in the future, the Google Home will be able to do things that you'll have to beg Google to do. Out of the gate, Google for Home will be able to do things with your home automation without batting an eye. You'll just be able to say, like, stuff that you normally right now have to go into the app and fiddle with,
Hmm.
you won't have to do that in the future. You'll
Yeah.
just be able to tell it, yeah, you know what? I decided I don't like this, so I want you to do this and that instead. And it'll
Right.
just automatically. And that's the great thing about AI is you can talk to it and it
Yeah.
understands. You don't have to say, please turn my lights to 60%. You just say, you know, I don't like the lights like this. I don't know, 55, 60%. Pick your choice.
And a little plug, if you want to know how to better prompt your AI, Simple AI Life, there's a link in the description. Come over and join the community. Some awesome stuff in there. We do weekly Zoom calls, answer questions. You'll
Yeah.
love it.
And we're also going to do some AI tutorial videos over on the other channel that we
Yeah.
will be talking about a lot too. This is our
And those will be
podcast for the
free.
stuff that,
Those tutorials
yeah,
will be free.
yes,
So,
yeah. So,
yeah.
you know, I'm almost tempted, you know, when we get to editing, if I should throw in the bumper video for the channel
Yeah.
in here,
Yeah.
just to let him see it. So maybe right here. Simple AI Life with Lionel and Robert.
All
Editor's
right,
trick.
so
Maybe I'll cut
move
that out.
moving
Maybe
on
I won't.
before we're talking for 14 hours. One
Yes,
thing
let's
I
get on with
wanted
it.
to mention just with the whole Gemini thing is I sent you this about Gemini Flash getting a agentic vision, and I
Yes.
didn't have a chance to really dig into that article. I don't know if you did, but
Yeah, I did.
everything's got some agentic stuff going on, and I just think it's really kind of cool. But if you got into it, what exactly
Okay.
is it talking about?
I don't have anything to pull up right now, so forgive me for not being too scientific about it. But I'll give you the bare bones, the meat and potatoes, if you will. Throw in some fries too. Uh, why would I throw fries in with potatoes? They are potatoes. I've
I don't
ruined
know.
everything.
It's a
I
lot of
should edit
carbs.
that part out. But anyways, let's get a lot of calories here. Here's with the bloopers, blooper reel. Anyways, here's the bottom line with this. The agentic vision, what it basically will be doing is, for instance, you give it a photo and you say, okay, I need to make this shirt a specific color. I want to know, I want to make sure that this person's face stays the same. I want them riding this particular type of scooter. It doesn't, like right now, it basically looks at the scene, it tries to estimate, it tries to take a little snapshot of the face and make sure that it keeps it the same. And Google or Nano does a really good job. A lot of the models are doing a really good job right now of that. Thanks to Nano Banana being the first to do a really good job of that. But agentic vision is actually analyzes everything, analyzes your prompt, analyzes the text, analyzes the way you're asked about it, how you asked, what you asked, and then analyzes everything about the picture or possibly video if it's doing that in the future too. I can't remember, but we'll just say picture for now. Including all the colors in it. It tries to estimate depth out of it. If there is a depth map included, it knows, so it just uses that. For instance, if it's taken by an iPhone and has LiDAR information built into it, then it'll get that, right? Um, and then it basically goes through what you want it to do, and then it can put all that together. So in this way, it should be. They claim 20, I think it was 15 to 30% more
The article that I
accurate.
saw said 5 to 10%.
Oh, 5 to 10%. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 5 to 10%. I was thinking of a different part of it was either a different article, a different part, or talking about something else. But 5 to 10%, which in all reality, I think what they're actually suggesting is they're not they're under promising. in an attempt to, you know,
Over
over
deliver.
deliver. Right. And the reason why is because if the agentic vision works even half as good as they hope it does, and not even nowhere near of what it will be capable of a year later, even half as good as they is what they're hoping. Realistically, it should be 25 to 35% better. Because 5 to 10% better just means you don't have an extra eyelash and you don't have that one extra pinky hanging off the one guy in the background. So
Yeah.
what? I mean, the AI has done a good job of not letting that happen most of the time anymore now. Agentic vision is going to be way more in depth about it. But here's the thing about agentic vision: the more instructions you give it, the better it will work. That
Yeah.
works to some extent with Nano Banana Pro right now. But with agentic vision in it, oh, wait, is it already launched with agentic vision or that's future? I haven't used Nano
No,
Banana in like a
it's
week.
well, I don't know if it's technically in right now, but it's I mean, this is something it's actively being
Oh, okay. So they're pushing it out or pushing out a
yeah.
beta version or something like that. Okay. Once it's fully implemented, uh, well, I'm sorry, before that, but as of right now, if it's not there, using it without it, you give it more instruction to some extent, you're going to get a better result. But there's a wall you hit right now. After you give it so much instruction, it just doesn't get to go any further than that because there's only so much it can change without changing the whole photograph. With agentic vision, the more information you give it, the more it analyzes about everything you say, everything you want it to do, and it'll look at more of the picture because more information means it has to look at more of the picture of what it can and can't change and what you want to change and what you don't want to change. So 5 to 10%, that's an under promise. So I guarantee you even out of the gate, it'll probably be far better than what people are thinking. I think it's
So
going to be a game
it's
changer.
available in the with the Gemini API and the
Right.
Google AI Studio,
Ah,
and
yes, right. Yes.
it's rolling out to the Gemini app in thinking mode. But the rollout in thinking mode is again, it's a staged kind of rollout, but it's
And I
actively
believe it also says
available
US
in
only on
API.
that one right now, doesn't it?
It doesn't say that on here. No,
Oh, it doesn't say America?
it
There
does
isn't a
not.
guy with a flag standing out in the wind with an eagle on his shoulder or something?
There is not. So I would think though that these tools we use that have the API capability, I would think that it would be implemented in that because it's just automatically part of the API. You don't have to necessarily
Right.
tell it to use it. It's just going to be there. So
Oh no, no, the agentic is going to, and it's not like you have to push a button for it. It's just going to be
right,
there. I'm just saying, in
right.
order for it to be at its most effective, giving it a bigger instruction, a more in-depth instruction is going to be far better. Like right now, using Nano Banana without it, Nano Banana Pro even without it. If I say, take this picture of my grandmother and make her 15 years younger and make sure she's standing next to Obama, it's going to do a good job. But at the same time, I could do that same thing and said, make sure that she's wearing a blue dress. He's wearing a black suit with a red tie. Not a red tie. Sorry. Wrong president. Anyways, don't hit me. Anyways, red tie. Anyways, anything like that, right? You give it a little bit more in depth, and eventually it starts to break, and it will make a mistake, and it may not be an obvious like a bad mistake, like there's a fourth arm sticking out of somebody's back, or something like that. But
Yeah,
it just might be okay. The dress is the wrong color. That's not what I asked for. Or she has one shoe on and the other one's a tennis shoe.
yeah.
That's not likely, but you know what I mean. It's usually going to be something that's less serious, but it will start to make mistakes
Hmm.
once you give it too much instruction. But with agentic vision, you do that and you can add a lot more to it. You can say, make sure she's wearing a cardigan sweater and make sure it has 6 buttons up slightly off to the left side. It has to look like something that she would have purchased in the 1950s early. Probably before going to a record store. She obviously likes to dance, and the shoes she's wearing should indicate that. That kind of thing,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And it will actually take all of that information and put it in. And so I actually believe that the worst case scenario is it's going to be at least 15 to 25% better and could be 30 to 35% better. Uh,
Yeah.
a year from now, when it's well past the rollout and everyone's using it and they've updated it at least once, if not twice, I think there's a good chance that it'll be 50% better, maybe more.
Yeah. Well, as they always say, this is as bad as it's ever going to be. So all this stuff just keeps getting better and better. And, Kling has come out with
Close
their
it.
3.0, and there's some of these new image and video models that have come out that are really, along with Veo. I mean, Veo is still, in my opinion, tops, but like this
Yeah.
Kling model and all that, they're catching up. They're figuring it out. So Google
Yeah,
doesn't
they're
need to
doing a
rest
really
on their
good
laurels.
job. Some of the
Yeah.
ones you've shown me and I've seen from other people as well, um, they're really quite good.
Yeah.
uh, but it's true though. I will admit this: the AI slop is getting on my nerves. I like the AI. I love to see AI videos. I love to watch other people still create, especially funny ones. And I do admit that I sometimes find myself laughing at obvious AI stuff on YouTube when it is now popping up in my YouTube feed all the time. But the one that's the most annoying, and I'm sure you've probably seen it too, and if you haven't, I swear to God, you need to see it. Look at infinity pool fails.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, those are pretty ridiculous.
This pool falls out and nobody, most of the water doesn't even fall through there's a hole in the floor off the edge of
Yeah.
a cliff. But the funniest one I just saw last night, and it was the first one is the Olympic swimmers. The horn goes and they all dive off their diving
Yeah.
things. There's no
And
water in the
there's no
pool.
water,
They just go
and they're
flat
still,
on the bottom. And the one guy goes all the way into the deep end, which is actually apparently a dive testing tank. And it's like 100 feet deep.
yeah. Yeah, I've seen that. That's
By
hilarious.
the way, you cannot get VO3 or any of the mainstream models to do that. They won't. They won't do that kind of thing because they have safeguards or what do they call it? That's not safe. Not safeguard isn't even the right word. What is it called? Uh, they won't let you make those types of videos. Ones that show obvious self are, or you know what I mean, right? You could tell it to do certain things like, breaking a TV or, I fell down the stairs, right? Or something like that. And it's funny, right? But an infinity pool of people falling to their death off a cliff, it will not do that.
Yeah, I wondered. I saw I think it was on TikTok, maybe it was on Instagram, but it was a video where, obvious AI,
Yeah.
Batman was holding Trump back while Superman was beating the shit out of him. And Trump's like, and the Superman is like, I was laughing my ass off.
Oh,
Oh man,
Jesus.
yeah.
Oh, Lord. I
I
I
was like,
saw
I wonder how
one
they did that, because I can't
there
even get, like, have a rock hit me in the head without it going,
yeah,
sorry,
I know.
you violate our our
Well, you
content
want to talk
rules.
about a violation. Listen, I forgot this thing was tracking my face. I leaned down to scratch an itch and it follows me. Uh there's a whole series of AI videos done. It's Elvis Presley as Captain Kirk in several scenes. And they're actual Star Trek scenes that they cut him into.
That's
and,
funny.
and there's other, and you mentioned just listen to the way he talks, right? It's actually a really good voice, however they
Yeah.
did it. Um, and then there's I think they had him do something else after that. I can't remember. It was another sci-fi thing. They probably had him doing John Wayne stuff too, I wouldn't doubt. Or will most likely. And they're actually funny. Now, I don't mind things like that. I think those are cool. If you're gonna make dumb AI slop type stuff, being really creative like that, wait makes way more sense than some of the garbage that's on out there. And I say because we're on YouTube, but on YouTube right now, like all girls on the beach in bikinis, people just
Yeah. It's
watching
like,
these things for hours, and I'm looking at it and I'm going, you guys know that you're looking at AI,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, those are real.
No,
Not only are
it's
those
not.
not real, neither is she.
Right. Yeah. It's like,
It's
come on,
all fake,
guys.
dude. It's all
Come on.
fake. Um, and some of it does look pretty damn close to real, but there's just, even with modern jiggle physics, if you will, because that's a thing, by the way. In AI, jiggle physics is real. And they actually call it that. Um, it was because of video games, by the way. Video games created jiggle physics. Yeah. I wanted
Okay.
to mention because I don't want to forget this. When we're getting ready to do the podcast, of course, naturally, uh, nothing was going to go wrong. I mean, I still have work I'm being done, carpets being done, so stuff's all over the place. So I got like a closet door leaning over there, blah blah blah, right? So I thought though, this is where my setup is going to be from now on. So it should be piece of cake, nice and simple. Turn everything on, it's ready to go. Nope, wrong answer. The camera would not connect to my computer. And I think, oh, this is the brand new one, the Extra Muse. I'm like, it's at 99% battery right now, and I took it out and put it on a regular charger, no charge. Like it's dead. So I got on the horn with Gemini, and I got
On the
Gemini to
horn.
walk me through it. Yeah. And I got Gemini to walk me through this. And after saying, "Oh, that's such a horrible thing. Don't you hate it when I'm like, just tell me how to fix it." Anyways, um, and it did. So my the thing about it is that it did it so easily and gave me the first ridiculous instructions, but then I said, it's not going to work that way, and let me explain why. And it said, oh, well, then you can try this instead, and that worked perfectly. And in case anybody has this or a DJI Osmo Pocket 3, by the way, if you have this issue, when it's on, because it should still be working at the time, hopefully, uh, press and hold the power button for around 15 or 20 seconds, at least 15 seconds. Nothing's going to happen. I mean, it's going to turn itself off and nothing's going to happen. Just keep holding it for that 15 to 20 seconds. Let go and it will suddenly power itself back on again. And when it does, plug it in and you'll see that it accepts a charge. It just needs a hard boot. And I don't know what causes it, but it has something to do with a flaw in the DJI Osmo Pocket firmware that causes it. So
Being the DJI Extra Muse Pocket firmware.
that's right. That's right. But I said it like that because it obviously being basically the same camera, it has those same internals, so it's going to have the same issue in that case. Apparently, that's a known issue, but it was AI, Gemini itself, that got me through that. Much the same as the intro done. I basically did that with DaVinci Resolve in the Fusion page, which is basically when you try and do 3D rendering, it's like working in Blender. If you don't know how to do this kind of stuff, it can be really, really daunting for someone to learn it, and it can be quite difficult. And I'm literally still learning how to do this stuff now. So there's a lot of stuff I remember, but when I want to get something done, especially if I want to get it done today, I asked Gemini to walk me through it, and I did come across a number of problems. Some of them were because I wasn't paying attention. Some of them because Gemini told me to do something that didn't actually exist in the program. But but in the end, it helped me with the exact information I needed to get the job done. And the best part about it is because even though it doesn't call it a memory feature, without going back to the same conversation, I can start another one the next time I want to do something, another conversation, and just say, yeah, I'm in Resolve and I want to
Hmm.
go in and do some more 3D work in
Yeah.
Fusion. And it will say, oh, well, the last time you want to do this, are we working on the same project or a different one? So yes, it does remember.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. It does wonders for me. So I'm just saying this because I know there's still going to be people out there who are like, oh, I'm scared of AI, and embrace it if it can help you with a better quality of life. I know it might sound a little bit ridiculous, say quality of life. I go outside and run around, and honestly, that's a better idea. I'm not going to
Well,
argue
no, but I
that. That's a
mean,
way
but
better
it
idea.
is. I mean, I've used
But
it for things like that, and I use it for. I've been using the Gemini in Chrome quite a bit, kind of like how with the
hmm
Perplexity browser. Now that they've
yep,
integrated it as effectively as the Perplexity, it can do agentic tasks. But
yep,
if I want to create an email, and let's say I'm not really sure how to word it, I'll just open up and say, "Hey, I need you to reply to this email, and I want it to say, XYZ in this kind of tone and be professional, and it'll draft it." And then I can just say,
yeah.
"No, no, no, don't do. Okay, may change this to that," and it'll say, oh, "Okay, rewriting it," and then you just copy paste it. So
And
it saved me a lot of time.
I'm honestly terrible with formal emails. So when Gemini came into the picture with that, even before Gemini, when they first put the assistant, what did they call it? Writing assist into it. It wasn't technically Gemini, although I suspect it was written over top of a Gemini code that they put in natively in it.
Yeah,
Because they did it like 3 years ago when Bard was still a baby and it wasn't available to anyone outside the
Bard.
States.
That's such a dumb
Yeah.
name.
I know. I don't know where they came up with that, but in any case, so yeah, it's great for me for that. And of course, being as you can do that in Messenger, you can do it in Gmail. You
Yeah,
can get it to you can even if you want to ask how to search for something, you don't even have to use the AI search. You could just
right.
open Gemini and say, I want to search for something, and I don't want to use the AI version of the search, but I'm looking for this and that, and these are the types of stores I'm looking to get it from. Can you help me find it? Right.
Yeah,
And so people are worried of, oh, yeah, but then search won't exist anymore. It doesn't matter. My page will never show up on a search engine. First of all, there's no such thing as a search engine anymore. It's
no.
the days of Yahoo are gone. Okay. I do remember. Oh my God, dude, trying to get my mother's page up so people would be able to search for it was such I had to submit it to like 19 search engines so that the three anyone used would get a chance to see it
Yeah.
because only the bottom five would actually post it.
Yeah, you don't have to submit anything now because they got all these web crawling robots that just like scour the internet for web
Web
pages
crawler,
and
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Web crawler, but that's just the
yeah,
thing. It's not like it used to be because I mean, when you think about it's web crawl, nothing web crawls. Well, I'm sorry, in the Google space or the Chat GPT space or whatever. That's not web crawling in its traditional sense. It literally has the ability to look up information. And the easiest thing, this is why a lot of people understand how fast, why it can answer you with in-depth information so quickly. Because you'd think, oh, it's a computer, so it can read 800 pages in a matter of a half a second, right? Whatever. But for it to actually get the information, get it back to you, and it takes me longer to download that information in text on a web page than it does for Gemini to answer it to me. It's because it's already seen it thousands of times when someone else asked similar questions or
right.
made statements about it. So it knows where that information is. In its own database, it knows where it's pointing to. If you ask it something about Sophia Loren, it's going to know exactly where to look about information, look up information about Sophia Loren. And it already knows, a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
could ask it about the pairing mode and it'll be able to answer me.
right. Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it has to
It's
look at the YouTube first, but it'll answer.
well, and the thing is too. The other day, I pulled up a YouTube video that I wanted the transcript for, and I just said, hey, I pasted, I went into Gemini, I typed in, "Hey, I need a full transcript of this video, but I don't want any
Exactly. That's a
time, I don't want
perfect
any
example.
timestamps or anything." And it watched the video and it pulled out all the transcript, and I just copy and pasted it because I want to get some information out of it,
Yeah.
to use for um, not copying it, but there was some. He made comments about some things. I didn't want to have to keep watching the video over and over and over, so I just pulled
Right,
that
right.
out, condensed the information into just text, and got what I needed and moved on.
And
It was
yeah, and
super
that's
fast.
yeah, and that's the great part about it. I mean, just doing the editing for our podcast, right? I mean, we're used to pulling transcript out, but in the case of the last time where did I put that? It was a transcript? No, it was the SRT file. I think I forgot to put in there, right?
Yeah.
But still, if the transcript isn't in there, you can still get Gemini to look at the video. Again, it may not be as accurate, but I mean, it's doable. But yeah, if you want to find information, I do this often with a web page. I can't read it. It's behind a paywall, and I can ask Gemini to look at the page. And if it can't give me more information because of the paywall, sometimes it can, because it can see slightly beyond it. So it gets the gist of it and it can give me a breakdown. Other times, I'll say it's behind a paywall, talking to you. No, sorry, it was a cough. Behind a paywall, and and I'll just say it's behind a paywall, and but I need to know this information, and I don't know where to get it from. Can you just look somewhere else and then give me a summary? And it takes about 5 seconds, and it comes back and it tells me, oh yeah, it's talking about this and that from this other site. You can get to the information. Would you like the link to that now?
Yeah.
There's just so many things that it's good at.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and it's just going to get better and better, honestly. And I think that Google's still going to have an edge up against everyone else, only because the sheer amount of data that Google has collected and
Right.
continues to collect,
Yeah.
that nobody else. It's not that they don't have access to it, but they don't have all that indexed like Google does. So they can access that
Yeah.
way faster. But I think there's so many different LLMs and video creation, picture creation, and I think it's people are getting paralyzed by the sheer magnitude of the choices
Yep.
available. And they just need to step back and realize, look, and this is one thing we're going to focus on with Simple AI Life, which is why that name was created, was to make it simple. is don't worry about all these things. Like, use what you have access to or that you feel comfortable with. And because I mean, pretty much every LLM out there, every chatbot can pretty much do the same thing. Yes, some are better
Yeah.
at one thing than another, but for the average person, they're all going to give you pretty good results with proper prompting. So just pick one,
That's true.
get get proficient, and then you can start expanding into, oh, Claude's better at reading an encyclopedia or something,
Yeah,
then
exactly. You don't have to have them all at once. I mean, if you're
right.
unsure, you can try a lot of them
Yeah,
and go, I like this one better, then stick with it. Uh, get to know it a little bit better. And you know what? We have the perfect venue for you to learn. Robert?
Prompt Pal. I have created a web app that you're able to go in there and practice and play, and it's actually has API connection on the back end, so it can actually give you real results. So that's in our community. And again, links in the description. Stan.store/ Simple AI Life. Click the link, go check it out. We do have some free content. We will be getting some free tutorials up that we're going to be getting out here soon. But community is live. It's open. There's probably 300, 400 free prompts in the community, prompt pals in the community. So again, we're going to be doing weekly Zoom calls where you can ask questions live. Normally, it'll probably be both of us. Sometimes it might just be one, depending on schedules or
Yeah,
something.
it's
But
possible. It's possible
yeah,
too. But yeah, well, we're going to do that. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, also, we will also be doing on that channel, our other channel, uh, tutorial videos, very similar to what you see, like if you're trying to learn how to do video editing or you're trying to learn how to do certain types of photography or photography editing or whatever it
yeah,
is you like. Those will be free videos, obviously, for that. More in-depth stuff is a different story. Get into the community and you'll find a lot more about it. Like Robert said, all that stuff is available, and our podcast is not dying. It's not going away. We're going to talk about more technology stuff in the future. we might expand it a little bit more because we are going to have different stuff going over there.
Yep.
But AI is always going to be first and foremost on our minds because AI is here to stay. And I just want to say, I am Lionel, and I am in Toronto.
And I am Robert, and I am in Nashville. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Have a good one.